What's up, guys? Welcome to A Restar's Life. In this episode, I want to address the question that pops up all the time, which is, should I list every day? Should I list all at one time? And we're going to get straight into this and give you some ideas on how to increase your sell-through rate or your velocity, meaning how fast things sell. So let's get straight into it. The answer really comes down to it doesn't matter. If you list every day or if you list one time a month, it just matters what type of item you're listing and how often it sells. So the goal should actually be to list as few of SKUs as possible. So as an example, my personal goal is to sell 2,000 items per month. In this public store, I'm currently selling 1,000 items per month. I actually would rather not list at all. I would rather just add in more quantity of items that sell over and over again. If I achieved my goal of 2,000 sales with just one listing, that would be ideal. Then I would be able to not list at all. If you're listing random items though, you need to make sure that you list a certain number of items so you at least have the opportunity. It would be foolish for me to think I could sell 2,000 items per month if I didn't list at least 2,000 items per month, regardless of how many SKUs. So you need to look at it as in what is the amount of sales you have per the amount of items that you have. So on this 1,000 sales that I had last month in April, I had roughly 4,000 for sale. It's about a 25% sell-through rate. If I just kept the same type of stuff, I could either add one more quantity to those 4,000 items. So I would have 8,000 items for sale, maybe drop the price a little bit. Maybe I would get my 2,000 quantities sold or optimize those listings better so they sold twice as much. That seems unlikely though. It'd be more likely to list 8,000 items of similar stuff. But again, if it's too similar, your sell-through rate is going to drop because you actually cannibalize the same customers that are buying X amount of this type of item. There's not going to be twice as many of those customers next month. So you're going to have to make sure that the market can actually yield twice as many sales. Essentially, if you list exactly the same stuff next month at twice the volume, you're not going to have twice the sales because the people who are buying it didn't double. So you have to look at what it is that you're selling in order to adjust that. So number one, whatever amount of sales that you want to have, you have to list that many items, whether it's one SKU and 100 quantity or 100 different SKUs, whatever that goal is, you need to look at that first. Number two, you need to create a listing habit. So for me, my habit is 500 items per week. I look through bulk buys. I buy stuff in bulk. I look through it myself. I give 2,000 items to my listers. I have two. They photograph and use the tool SellHound to upload it into a draft, essentially, to be reviewed. So I use SellHound. You can just do it yourself. It saves me about 2 to 5 minutes per listing. If you are a small seller, it may not make sense to use SellHound. There's a lot of people saying, can I get a deal on 10 listings or 20 listings? If you're at that level, just do it yourself. SellHound is built more for volume. If you're trying to make, list hundreds or thousands of items, it makes more sense for you. If you're doing less than 100 items a week, I would say just do it yourself. I do have an affiliate code, Daily Refinement 25. That gets you 25% off your first order. I order SellHound listings between 2,000 and 3,000 listings at a time. And it's basically my goal for the month. So I am set up to list 2,000 items into my store. Last month, I listed 2,600 items in my store. So you can see the store growing over time. And my goal this month is to, again, list 2,000 new items. And your habits and your schedule has to equal that. Some people say, oh, I want to list 100 items a day, but they have no systems that do that. Then they end up being disappointed at the end of the month. As long as I get 2,000 items to my listers, there will be 2,000 new items that go up. Okay. Then once you have your reselling goal, look at your actual, your week. And there's 3 questions you can ask yourself. One is, what is the number of items that you want to list per week? You can actually cap that and say, I'm only going to list 100 items this week. After that, that's it. And what that's going to force you to do is find better items. Okay, so you're going to know, okay, if I can only list 100, that's only 15 a day. After you find 15 items, stop and work on improving those 15 items to get them better and better and better. If you limit the number of items you list, you're going to teach yourself replenishables. You could say to yourself, like my friend Mike, 1 listing per week is his goal. So what does that mean? He's spending 99% of his time researching what that one item is. Obviously, it's not one item that only has one quantity. He's looking for one item that can sell hundreds of times. So he's actually being more efficient than somebody that's looking for 100 random items, because after a month, Mike maybe has his goal is 4 items per month that sell over and over again, versus someone who's listed 400 items and the next month they have to find another 400 items. And Mike, his income grows every single month because he's focusing on filling his store with replenishables. You guys can look up Mike. He's DIY Mike on Instagram. Really, really nice guy. And he focuses only on replenishables made in the USA. Okay, so no, he doesn't want to deal with overseas shipping, and now more than ever, you can see how being reliant on an overseas supplier is dangerous. Okay, so you can limit the amount of items. Secondly, you can limit the amount of time, okay, which means you're only going to spend 10 hours a week on reselling, and that's it. This is best for people who have a job or people who have a family. And what you can do is that forces you to delegate. If you only want to work on reselling 10 hours a week and you want to grow a big business, you've got to learn how to hire people to help you. So limiting stuff actually expands your business usually, if you know what you're doing and if you focus on delegation and replenishables. The third part is make sure you're actually working on the business. I do that first thing in the morning. I have a mastermind group that meets 7 days a week. This is part of the reselling standard operating procedure document that we use. If you join my group for a year, you get access to this document, and we store all the information in here like this one. Best tips for increasing velocity is in the bottom of this document where we go over the best practices. So you want to work on your business. I recommend doing that first thing in the morning because it's hard. Okay, so calling suppliers is hard. Time management is hard. You do that in the beginning of the day. Some people do it at the end of the day after they've already done everything with their kids, family, reselling, shipping, and they end up doing nothing important, only things that are urgent. So again, 1, limit the amount of time that you spend on reselling. 2, limit the number of items you list. And then number 3, spend time working on the business, which means improving systems. Finally, this one's a little bit controversial, but it's helped me gain some velocity. As you guys can see in my store, in the beginning of last month, I was selling about 20 a day. I made a couple of adjustments and I went to 30 a day. And then most recently, now I'm at about 50 sales per day. And my goal is actually 66 sales per day. And the way that I'm going to achieve that is with this number I've heard from a lot of large sellers, which is the $12 free shipping, free returns, don't lose money model. It's kind of a secret tip that I've only heard from larger sellers. And what that means is you want to buy something that you can get for $1 or less and sell it for 12, free shipping, free returns, and you don't lose money on it. And what that does is, ideally, you're listing this at a fast pace so that your store starts to build velocity. I've noticed a few stores doing this, and you'll look at their store and say, why are they selling these items for so cheap? It doesn't make sense. It does make sense though. If you look at their overall store, they're selling the expensive items at the same pace as their cheap items because the algorithm is based on sales. It's not based on listings. So back to the beginning of the video, should I list every day or should I list all at one time? That question is irrelevant. The question is, how can I get more sales? Because eBay rewards sales. If something is selling over and over again, eBay is going to give their traffic, their super valuable traffic that they pay for, by the way. They're one of the largest advertisers on Google. They spend the money to get people to go to eBay. They're not going to give that traffic to a listing that sucks. They're going to give it to one that converts over and over and over again. So I've been like a hawk watching this average sales conversion rate right here. It's at 1.7. When I first started looking at this, it was at 1%. I'm trying to increase this number higher and higher and higher. And so what eBay is thinking is, wow, 2% conversion for Chris, let's just send him a ton of traffic. If this is at 20%, I imagine eBay would be filtering all that traffic to you to try to get as much money as possible. They are a business. Do what eBay wants if you want to make the most money. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. They're a company. They're not a nonprofit. They don't care about your feelings. They just want to make money. If you want to make money, then follow their rules and try to get to this point. Now, here's the thing. Try not to lose money. I see some people doing less than $12 free shipping on like their whole store is based on that model. You can't have your entire store based on $12 free shipping because you're not going to earn any money. You just have to a certain percentage of it to get your velocity fast enough, then focus on the good stuff. One more benefit of the $12 free shipping, free return model is that it helps offset your costs. So the way that I have this set up is you pay $1 for the item, $5 for first class shipping, and then $5 for everything else. Shipping, photography, rent, admin. So what this is doing is actually paying my rent, it's paying for my listers, it's paying for everything. There's enough volume here to basically be my overhead. It's like my break-even information. So you guys should definitely look at something like that to build up the velocity in your store. And then hopefully the more expensive or better stuff in your store starts to move at a better clip. So hopefully that's useful, guys. This video was sponsored by my reseller field guide. It's $35. It's basically how I earn 6 figures on reselling. But if you want now, you can actually join my mastermind group for free and try it for a month. I'm going to include a free month subscription with my field guide if you want to go that route, or you can go to patreon.com/dailyrefinement and just sign up. You get access to this document. We meet 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Get in there, meet with people. It's the cheapest paid group ever. Okay, $110 all year. It's less than a cup of oatmeal. Okay, very cheap. So I appreciate you guys' time. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.